Close your eyes and imagine the immense, velvety weight of the Atlantic Ocean pressing softly against the silence of a world long forgotten by the maps of men. Before the first great empires of the Mediterranean rose from the sun-scorched dust, and before the monumental pyramids first cast their long, geometric shadows across the shifting sands of the East, there existed a kingdom that shimmered like a lonely crown upon the dark, prehistoric sea. Tonight, the modern world, with all its neon lights, its constant noise, and its endless lists of obligations, is beginning to fade into a distant blur, leaving behind only the cool, salt-misted air of a memory that has survived the rise and fall of countless civilizations for over 2,000 years. You are not simply drifting into a standard sleep. You are beginning a slow, deliberate descent through the many layers of human history, passing quietly through the era of cold steel and white steam, drifting back beyond the flickering candlelight of the Renaissance, and moving toward the very first sunrise of a lost golden age. You are entirely safe here, anchored in this profound and quiet moment, as the thin boundary between your present reality and the ancient past begins to dissolve like sea foam on a moonlit shore. The story of Atlantis is not a puzzle for your mind to solve, nor is it a dry record of dates and names. It is a living landscape to be felt, a slow, rhythmic tide of marble cities, silver-plated temples, and the deep, eternal blue that eventually claimed them all in a single heartbeat of time. Allow your thoughts to become as still as the deepest parts of the ocean floor, where the currents of the past move with a heavy, soothing slowness, carrying the distant echoes of a civilization that was simply too beautiful to remain on the land. We are standing together at the absolute edge of the known world, where the ancient stars are reflected in waves that have no name and no master. In this space, there is no destination other than the profound peace found in the heart of a legend, a place where time has lost its power, and your only remaining task is to breathe, to listen, and to remember. As you settle deeper and deeper into the cradling warmth of your bed, feel the room around you expand into the vast, starlit horizon of the prehistoric Atlantic, where the great gates of a lost empire are quietly, patiently waiting for your arrival. Every breath you take is a step further away from the noise of the day, and a step closer to the shimmering canals of the City of Circles. There is a deep, ancient comfort in this unknown territory, a reassurance that the mysteries of the sea are kept safe just for moments like this, when the soul seeks rest. Before we reach the sun-drenched shores of that first magnificent circle, and before we walk the bridges of white marble, let us take the time to ground your spirit in the absolute, unshakable stillness of the now, preparing your body to mirror the perfect glass-like calm of a sea without a wind. The journey is long, the water is deep, and your rest is the only key required to unlock the gates of the past. Let the world go, for the ocean is calling you home to a dream that never truly ended. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the cool air travel through your nostrils, and as you exhale, let the entire weight of your physical being begin to merge with the surface beneath you. There is a profound and ancient wisdom in the simple act of lying still, of allowing the world to rotate on its axis without your intervention or effort. In this sacred space and in this specific moment, there are no obligations to fulfill, no to-do lists to check, and no expectations to meet. By simply closing your eyes and choosing the stillness, you are already offering your body the most nourishing and restorative form of rest it can possibly receive. Feel the mattress or the chair supporting you completely, holding you with an unwavering, quiet strength that finally allows you to let go of the unconscious need to hold yourself up. With each gentle, rhythmic breath, you are guiding yourself deeper into a private sanctuary where the air is soft, the light is dim, and the silence is a heavy, warm blanket. Bring your gentle awareness down to your toes, those small, faithful points of contact that carry you through the miles of your daily life. Wiggle them softly for a moment, feeling the subtle sensation of movement, and then simply let them go. As you exhale, imagine a wave of golden warmth washing over them, dissolving any lingering tightness from the day and leaving them feeling soft, heavy, and completely still. Let this sensation of profound relaxation travel slowly into the soles of your feet, moving through the arches and wrapping around your heels and ankles. Your feet are now resting, finished with their work for the day, sinking into a state of total blissful ease. This wave of calm now flows upward, traveling like a gentle, sun-warmed tide into your lower legs. Feel your calves soften against the sheets. Feel your shins unwind and the bone itself feel heavy and cool. With every inhale, you draw in a sense of timeless peace. With every exhale, you sink a few millimeters deeper into the surface beneath you. The relaxation moves through your knees, smoothing out the joints, and flows into the large muscles of your thighs. Release any hidden tension stored there until your legs feel loose, relaxed, and incredibly heavy, as if they are becoming part of the earth itself. Now, turn your attention to your hips and your lower back, the very center of your physical gravity and the place where we often carry the weight of our posture. As you breathe in, imagine a warm, soothing light filling the space of your pelvis, expanding gently within you like a slow-moving cloud. As you exhale, release any residual tightness you find there, allowing your lower back to relax fully and sink into the support beneath you. Move your focus slowly upward to your abdomen, letting it rise and fall naturally, like the tide of a calm evening sea. There is no need to control the rhythm. Just feel the expansion and the soft, rhythmic release as the last remnants of stress leave your body with every passing breath. Your chest softens, your rib cage opens with effortless grace, and your lungs fill and empty with a perfect ancient ease. Shift your awareness to your shoulders, where the invisible weights of the world so often rest throughout the day. Picture them dropping down, drifting away from your ears, as if a heavy cloak has finally been unburdened from your frame. Let the relaxation flow like liquid silk down your arms, smoothing out the muscles in your biceps and triceps, moving through the hollows of your elbows and into the length of your forearms. Feel it reach your wrists, your palms, and travel into each individual finger until your hands rest gently, curled in a state of complete and total ease. Finally, bring your focus to your neck and the cradle of your head. Let the muscles in your jaw loosen, creating a small, restful space between your teeth. Feel your cheeks soften, your eyelids grow heavy, and the skin across your brow becomes smooth and clear like a still pool of water. Imagine any remaining fragments of thought or tension dissolving into the cool air, leaving your entire body calm, still, and grounded. Take one more deep, soothing breath that travels from the tips of your toes to the very crown of your head. You are now fully relaxed, anchored in a sea of peace, and resting in a quiet calm that feels as vast and as deep as the ocean itself. Stay in this perfect stillness for a moment, breathing softly and naturally, feeling the profound safety of this silence. Your body is now a vessel of pure calm, a ship at rest in a harbor, ready to be carried by the gentle currents of the story we are about to tell. As the physical world recedes into the background, the shimmering vision of a lost world begins to take shape in the theater of your mind. It appears first as a glow on the horizon, then as liquid sapphire beneath a sun that never sets. We are leaving the shore of the present and drifting toward the center of the great mystery, where the water is clear, the air is still, and the magnificent history of Atlantis is waiting to be whispered into the night. Now, as your body remains anchored in this deep, unshakable stillness, let the veil of time part completely before your inner eye. We are drifting through a warm, luminous mist that smells of ancient salt and distant flowers. And as it clears, we find ourselves standing upon the sun-drenched shores of a world that predates the very memory of man. Before you lies the magnificent architectural marvel that is the capital of Atlantis, a city not built in mundane rows or rigid grids, but in a perfect, divine geometry that mirrors the stars above. Visualize this great city as a series of immense concentric rings of land and water, each one nested inside the other, like the ripples created by a single golden stone dropped into a mirror-still pond at dawn. There are 3 rings of water, deep, cool, and crystalline, and 2 rings of land, connected by bridges of such immense scale and breathtaking beauty that they seem to defy the very laws of gravity and stone. As we walk slowly across these grand spans, you notice the rare stones beneath your feet, some of it a deep, obsidian black that swallows the light, some a fiery volcanic red that glows with the earth's inner warmth, and some a pure celestial white that sparkles like fallen snow. These stones were quarried from the very heart of the sacred island, bringing the energy of the earth into the heart of the city. The sunlight catches the fine spray of the monumental fountains that line the walkways, creating miniature, shifting rainbows that dance in the cool, salt-tinged air. At the very center of this breathtaking design lies the citadel, the spiritual and royal heart of the empire, rising like a mountain of polished marble and precious metal from the innermost island. Dominating the skyline is the great Temple of Poseidon, a structure so vast and so noble that it seems to hold the very weight of the sky upon its silver shoulders. The exterior of this temple is not merely cold stone, but is entirely coated in shimmering, hammered silver, reflecting the golden rays of the afternoon sun with such intensity that the entire building appears to be made of living, liquid light. The high pinnacles and the sweeping roof are trimmed with solid, heavy gold, glowing with a soft internal warmth that contrasts beautifully with the cool, metallic brilliance of the silver walls. At the very peak, a golden statue of the sea god stands tall in a chariot drawn by 6 winged horses, his trident pointed toward the far horizon, as if commanding the tides of the world to remain calm for the sake of his chosen people. As we move deeper into the city, passing through grand archways and shaded colonnades, you begin to see the people who inhabit this earthly paradise. This is not a city of hurried labor or frantic noise, but a sanctuary for the extraordinary potential of the human soul. Here, the architects do not just build houses, they compose symphonies in stone, creating arches that mimic the natural curve of the horizon and domes that reflect the perfect arc of the heavens. You see philosophers gathered in the deep emerald green shade of private gardens, their voices low, steady, and melodic as they discuss the nature of the soul, the harmony of the spheres, and the long cycles of time. There are artists whose hands move with a grace that seems directly guided by the god, carving statues from translucent marble that look as though they might draw a soft breath at any moment. These are a people who have mastered the delicate balance between the intellect and the spirit, living in a state of perpetual refinement, abundance, and peace. They move with a slow, deliberate dignity, their robes of fine, hand-woven linen catching the amber light as they walk along the canal banks, their faces reflecting a profound and quiet contentment that the modern world has long since forgotten how to achieve. The air here is thick with a sensory richness that lulls your mind into a state of pure, blissful awe. Can you smell the fragrance of the city as it breathes? It is a complex, intoxicating blend of the sharp, clean scent of the sea salt mingling with the sweet, heavy perfume of blooming citrus groves that stretch as far as the eye can see. Orange and lemon trees line the wide white stone boulevards, their branches heavy with fruit that glows like fallen stars amidst the dark, waxy green leaves. Between the grand palaces of marble and polished brass, Wild lilies, fragrant jasmine, and mountain herbs grow in lush, untamed abundance, releasing their earthy, floral essence into the warm afternoon breeze. There is no sound of machinery here, no harsh clatter of industry to disturb your rest. There is only the distant rhythmic lap of the water against the stone embankments, the soft golden hum of bees in the clover, and the occasional flute-like call of a bird from the high canopy of the exotic trees. Every sense is nourished, every breath is a gift of peace, and every moment feels like an eternity of structured beauty. As you walk through these gardens, feeling the cool rectangular shadow of a silver-walled villa fall across your path, you notice how the light begins to subtly change. The sun, which had been a constant, benevolent presence in the sky, starts to dip toward the jagged edge of the great western ocean, casting long amber shadows that stretch like reaching fingers across the marble plaza. In this transition from golden day to velvet evening, the city takes on a new, more mysterious character. The high pinnacles of the temple catch the last, fiery glint of the sunset, looking like dying embers in a cosmic fire. A profound, heavy stillness descends upon the rings of land and water, a silence that feels deeper and more ancient than the one before. Yet, in the very heart of this perfection, in the center of this utopia, where everything seems balanced and eternal, you begin to feel the faintest, most subtle shiver of unease. It is not a loud or sudden thing, but a quiet shifting of the atmosphere, like the first unexpected chill of autumn on a warm summer's night. Look closely at the faces of the people as the twilight deepens into purple and gold. The serene confidence you saw earlier seems touched now by a trace of something new, perhaps a hint of a pride that has grown too large for the land, or a sense of entitlement that has begun to cloud their ancient, inherited wisdom. The shadows between the great silver pillars of the temple seem a little darker, a little more profound than they were just a few heartbeats ago. It is as if the city itself is holding its breath, aware that even the most brilliant and blinding light must eventually cast a shadow. This shadow is not coming from the rising tide or the darkening sky, but from within the quiet hearts of the very people who built this magnificent paradise. As we stand together on the highest bridge, watching the first faint stars appear over the darkening Atlantic, we realize that the Golden Age is no longer a static thing frozen in time. It is moving, flowing like a heavy tide toward a destination that even the great Poseidon, in all his golden glory, cannot avert. The air grows slightly cooler now. The sweet scent of the citrus groves begins to fade, and the sound of the waves against the outer walls begins to grow louder, more insistent, and more rhythmic, as if the great ocean is reminding the city of its humble origin and its ultimate watery end. We watch in silence as the lights of the citadel flicker into life, tiny sparks of defiance against the coming night, unaware that the darkness they seek to keep at bay is already beginning to gather at the very edges of their magnificent, fading dream. The water is waiting, and the story is turning, carrying us from the heights of the sun toward the mysteries of the deep. As we linger on that highest marble bridge, watching the very last amber rays of the prehistoric sun disappear beneath the line of the world, we feel the air grow heavy with a static, expectant silence. High above the silver-domed temples and the quiet citrus groves, in the invisible, starlit realm where the eternal gods keep their tireless watch, a profound and heavy shift has occurred. The benevolence that once shone down upon the rings of Atlantis has cooled into a stern, celestial observation. For many long generations, the hearts of these people were as pure as the mountain springs, content with the simple, rhythmic abundance of their land and the quiet depth of their inherited wisdom. But as we saw in the lengthening shadows of the evening gardens, that ancient purity has slowly, almost imperceptibly, begun to erode. It has been replaced by a hardened crust of mortal ambition and an insatiable, restless thirst for power that the earth was never meant to sustain. The golden trim of their great temples is no longer a humble reflection of divine light, but has become a trophy of human greed. The architects no longer build for the sake of harmony, but for the sake of conquest. And the philosophers who once spoke of the eternal soul now whisper in darkened rooms of expansion and dominance over the distant, lesser nations of the world. In the high, silent halls of Olympus, the great architect of the heavens looks down upon this spreading corruption with a sorrow that is as vast and as deep as the sky itself. He sees that the magnificent gift of Atlantis has been squandered, that the delicate balance of the natural world has been tipped by the sheer weight of human hubris, and he realizes with a heavy finality that for the harmony of the universe to be restored, the brilliance of the island must be returned to the primordial, cleansing depths from which it first rose so many eons ago. This transition from glory to memory begins not with a sudden roar or a sharp cry, but with a strange, unsettling stillness that settles like a heavy velvet shroud over the concentric rings of the great city. The bright birds in the citrus groves suddenly go silent, their melodic songs cut short as if by an invisible, gentle hand. The wind, which had always carried the sweet, intoxicating scent of jasmine and sea salt, simply vanishes, leaving the air thick, warm, and perfectly still. Then, from the very deep bowels of the ancient earth, comes a sound that is felt more than it is heard, a low, rhythmic thrumming, a subsonic vibration that travels through the soles of your feet and settles deep into the marrow of your bones. The mirror-like surface of the great canals begins to tremble in sympathy, sending tiny, perfect, geometric ripples outward to break softly against the white marble embankments. Slowly, the vast sky begins to change, not into the soft, comforting purple of a normal twilight, but into a bruised, oppressive charcoal hue. Massive, heavy clouds roll in from the dark horizon, blotting out the stars and the moon one by one, until the only light remaining in the world is the faint, eerie glow of the silver walls reflecting an invisible, flickering fire. The earth beneath the great citadel begins to moan, a deep, tectonic groan of a world being pulled apart by the very hands that created it. And then, the first crack appears, a jagged, slow-moving line of darkness, splitting the pristine, white marble of the great plaza, spreading like a delicate web of shadow toward the foundation of the Temple of Poseidon. The judgment of the gods arrives with a majestic fury that is both terrifying and strangely beautiful to behold from our place of safety. The sea, which was once the city's greatest protector and its primary source of infinite wealth, suddenly turns into its most relentless and rhythmic adversary. Massive, undulating walls of water, darker and deeper than the night sky itself, rise up from the outer horizon, towering momentarily over the mountain peaks before crashing down with the slow, inevitable weight of 1,000 winter storms. The earth shudders in a violent rhythmic dance, and the magnificent bridges that once seemed to defy gravity begin to crumble back into the sea, their obsidian and white stone returning to the chaotic, swirling embrace of the tide. In the space of a single chaotic day and a single, endless, watery night, the pride of Atlantis is systematically dismantled. The silver-coated walls are stripped bare by the relentless salt spray. The golden statues are pulled from their high pedestals into the churning white foam, and the emerald green gardens are drowned in a surge of cold, inexorable blue. There is no frantic noise in our journey, only the grand, somber spectacle of a world being reclaimed by the primal elements. The concentric rings, once symbols of a perfect and divine order, are pulled down into a massive, swirling vortex, sinking deeper and deeper through the darkening, pressurized layers of the ocean until the golden light of the sun can no longer reach them. Then, as quickly and as decisively as the great storm arrived, it begins to dissipate into the mist. The violent churning of the water slows into a gentle, rhythmic heave, and the bruised clouds part to reveal a pale, indifferent moon hanging in the void. Where once there was a vibrant city of silver and gold, there is now only the vast, unbroken, and silent expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. The surface of the water is as smooth as dark, polished glass, stretching out in every conceivable direction toward a horizon that feels infinitely far away and untouched by man. The silence that follows this event is not an empty silence. It is a heavy cleansing and restorative silence that washes over the memory of the city, smoothing away the jagged edges of its sudden fall. The sea has taken the greed, the pride, and the magnificent architecture of the ancients and tucked them safely away in the quiet, pressurized darkness of the abyss, where they can no longer disturb the fragile balance of the world. You can feel the coolness of this water in your own mind now, a soothing, rhythmic presence that clears away the tension of the narrative. The ocean is the world's great eraser, the ultimate keeper of secrets, and as we float together upon this calm, moonlit surface, we feel a sense of profound and total release. The tragedy is over, the debt to the gods has been paid in full, and the world is perfectly still once more. We linger here in the very heart of this oceanic silence for a long time, watching the moonlight play in silver patterns upon the gentle, rolling swells of the water. The air is fresh and crisp again, carrying only the scent of pure, cold salt and the quiet promise of a new, distant dawn. As we drift, we begin to realize that while the physical city has vanished forever beneath the heavy waves, the idea of it has already begun a different kind of journey. It has moved from the realm of stone and gold into the ethereal realm of thought and the spoken word. We begin to follow a single, slender thread of memory that somehow survived the sinking a story whispered from one survivor to another, traveling slowly across the vast sea to the ancient, sun-baked shores of Egypt, and finally finding its way into the quiet, candlelit study of a man in Athens. This man, a dedicated seeker of truth and a master weaver of complex ideas, is sitting with his weathered parchment and his reed pen, waiting to capture the fading echo of the lost empire before it vanishes entirely into the fog of time. We are leaving the deep, quiet waters of the myth now and moving toward the flickering, warm candlelight of recorded history, toward the brilliant mind of the philosopher Plato, who first gave the enduring name of Atlantis to the world. The waves are carrying us softly, rhythmically toward the shore, where the written word is waiting to preserve the dream of the sunken city for all of eternity. Now, as we leave the rhythmic, heavy resonance of the falling tides and the vast silence of the Atlantic behind us, we find ourselves drifting into a different kind of stillness, the quiet, contemplative, and deeply soothing air of an ancient library in the very heart of Athens. The distant roar of the ocean has softened, transforming into the gentle, rhythmic, and hypnotic scratching of a reed pen moving slowly upon dry, yellowed parchment. We are entering the sacred realm of the written word, moving toward the flickering, warm amber candlelight that illuminates the private workspace of one of history's most profound thinkers. Here, amidst the comforting and earthy scent of old cedar wood, sun-dried papyrus, and time-worn stone, sits the philosopher Plato. He is a man who spent the entirety of his long life seeking the invisible, eternal threads that connect our physical, fleeting world to the timeless truths of the infinite universe. To his mind, history was never just a cold collection of dates and events, but a clear mirror in which we could see the reflection of our own wandering soul. He stands as the bridge between the raw, chaotic power of the ancient prehistoric myths and the structured, logical, and calm mind of the modern world. As he dips his pen into the dark ink, he is not merely recording a tall tale for entertainment. He is carefully preserving a cautionary, rhythmic echo from a time before time, ensuring that the vital lessons of Atlantis would never truly be washed away or forgotten by the shifting tides of the sea. The year is roughly 360 years before the Common Era, a time when the world was still vast, mysterious, and filled with long shadows that human logic had yet to fully touch or explain. In this quiet room, Plato begins to compose two of his most profound and enduring dialogues, the Timaeus and the Critias. As you listen to the steady rhythmic flow of his thought, he introduces us to a character named Critias, who claims to have heard the sacred story of Atlantis through a long, unbroken lineage of ancient storytellers, tracing the memory back through the generations to the great Athenian lawgiver Solon. Solon, it is said, had traveled to the ancient, sun-drenched temples of Egypt, where priests with eyes as old and as deep as the desert sands told him of a mighty and magnificent empire that existed 9,000 years before his own time. An empire that lay far beyond the Pillars of Hercules, resting in the very heart of the great, dark Western Ocean. Plato describes this lost world with a clinical, almost architectural precision that settles into the mind like a calm meditation. He tells of the unique red, black, and white stones, the perfect concentric rings of land and water, and the immense, almost incomprehensible wealth of the ancient king. But as you continue to follow the slow, hypnotic pace of his prose, you begin to realize that he is describing something much more profound than a physical city of gold. He is describing a state of being, a harmony of the human spirit that has been lost to the fog of time. He goes into great, soothing detail regarding the laws of the Atlanteans, their initial devotion to divine virtue, and their beautiful, early harmony with the will of Poseidon, their celestial father. He paints a vibrant, lingering picture of a society that had achieved everything a human civilization could ever dream of, possessing unlimited wealth, global power, and deep philosophical wisdom, only to show how fragile and transient those things become when they are disconnected from the source of the spirit. The deeper we descend into the heart of Plato's dialogues, the more the narrative takes on a repetitive, almost mantra-like quality that relaxes the mind. He speaks of the 10 royal kings of Atlantis, descendants of the sea god himself, who met every few years in the central citadel to consult the ancient, sacred laws inscribed upon a massive pillar of shimmering orichalcum. They would perform their rituals in the quiet of the night, swearing a solemn oath of justice and maintaining a perfect, delicate balance between their earthly power and their heavenly duties. The repetition of their laws, the consistency of their rituals, and the order of their world provide a sense of profound intellectual comfort, a feeling that everything in the universe has a proper place and a rhythmic cycle of existence. But then, as the candlelight flickers low in the Athenian night, Plato's tone subtly shifts, becoming even slower, more somber, and more reflective. He reveals the true hidden heart of this philosophical parable. He explains that as the divine portion within the Atlanteans began to slowly fade, diluted over the long centuries by the complexities of human nature and the intoxicating, blinding lure of material success, the people became unseemly and lost their way. To the eyes of those who could only see the surface of things, they appeared to be at the very height of their glory and strength, but to the eyes of the gods, they were already hollow, decaying, and spiritually bankrupt. The story of Atlantis, as Plato penned it, was never truly intended to be a mere travelogue or a map to a hidden, sunken treasure. It was intended to be a profound and eternal warning about the spiritual rot that inevitably follows unchecked ambition and the loss of humility. It was a lesson for his beloved Athens and for all the vast civilizations that would follow in the footprints of history, that the greatest height always precedes the deepest fall when pride becomes the navigator of the soul. There is a strange, academic, and deeply rooted comfort in the immense weight of this ancient wisdom. As we visualize the heavy papyrus scrolls being carefully rolled up, tied with silk cords, and stored away in their protective clay jars, we feel a renewed sense of order and structure returning to our own world. Even though the physical city of Atlantis sank beneath the waves, the fundamental logic of the universe remained intact and unshaken. Plato's words provide a sturdy, structural foundation for our wandering thoughts, a way to categorize the apparent chaos of the world into a meaningful, rhythmic lesson of growth and release. The story is no longer a dark tragedy of drowning and loss, but a quiet masterpiece of philosophy, a rhythmic cycle of rising and falling that mirrors the very breath in your lungs and the beating of your heart. You can almost feel the rough, organic texture of the ancient parchment beneath your own fingers and hear the low, steady, and distant hum of the students in the academy as they debate the deeper meaning of the lost empire in the cool morning air. The authority of the ancient world is like a heavy, warm, and protective cloak, shielding us from the cold uncertainty of the unknown and the vastness of the dark sea. We find a lasting peace in the realization that even our greatest human failures can be transformed into eternal wisdom, and that nothing in our history is ever truly lost as long as there is a quiet, reflective mind to contemplate its deeper meaning. As the candlelight in Plato's silent study begins to burn exceptionally low, flickering one last, brave time before the wick finally disappears into the warm, liquid wax, we feel the story begin to drift and wander once more through the corridors of time. The grand, echoing libraries of the ancient world are slowly, inevitably being reclaimed by the soft gray dust of the passing centuries. The sacred scrolls of the Timaeus and the Critias are being copied by hand, moved from city to city, hidden away in the cold stone of mountain monasteries, and buried deep in the ruins of fallen empires as the brilliant light of the classical age begins to dim and cool. We are entering the long, quiet, and mysterious shadows of the Middle Ages, a time when the maps of the world grew blank, and the great Western Ocean, once again, became a place of terrifying monsters and impenetrable mist, rather than a clear path to lost empires. The name of Atlantis is whispered less and less, becoming a ghost of a ghost, a half-remembered dream held by only a few lonely, dedicated scholars in the silent, forgotten corners of the world. But the golden thread of the story is not broken. It is merely waiting in the protective darkness, coiled and ready to be rediscovered when the world is finally ready to dream of the sea again. The slow, heavy waves of history are pulling us forward now, through the long centuries of silence, toward a new and vibrant era of exploration where the myth of the lost city will rise once more from the depths of the library and the hearts of men. As the long, quiet, and velvet-like shadows of the medieval era begin to lift slowly from the face of the world, we find our minds drifting into a realm that is gradually waking up to the vast, breathtaking mystery of its own horizons. We are moving away from the cloistered, stone-cold silence of the mountain monasteries and into the vibrant, salt-scented and restless air of the 12th and 13th centuries. This is an era of a grand awakening, a time when the ancient trade routes of the world are stretching out like waking limbs after a long slumber, reaching with curiosity toward the unknown, mist-covered corners of the dark earth. The rare silks and exotic spices of the distant east are flowing once again into the bustling ports of Europe. But with them comes something even more intoxicating, something far more precious: the profound rediscovery of ancient, lost knowledge. The forgotten dusty scrolls of the Greeks are being carefully unearthed from their long hiding places, and among those yellowed pages, the legendary name of Atlantis begins to whisper once more through the echoing halls of the first universities and the private, candlelit chambers of curious kings. It is no longer just a ghost of a ghost. a faded memory from a dead world. It has become a living, breathing question, a magnificent mystery that demands to be explored by a new, restless generation of dreamers. We are now entering the true renaissance of dreams, a golden period where the thin boundaries between what is real and what is imagined are as translucent and as delicate as the silk sails of a merchant ship moving through a morning fog. Imagine yourself now transported to a bustling ancient port city at the very edge of the vast Atlantic, perhaps in the winding streets of Lisbon or the watery alleys of Venice, where the evening air is a thick, heady mixture of drying fish, expensive saffron, and the damp, rhythmic, and soothing breath of the harbor. The sun is setting in a slow amber arc over a sea that no longer feels like a terrifying barrier to the end of the world, but like a beckoning, infinite highway. In the dimly lit taverns tucked along the heavy stone wharves, where the warm light of oil lamps dances in a rhythmic, hypnotic pattern on the rough timber walls, weather-beaten sailors are returning from the deep with eyes that have seen the impossible. They speak in low, reverent, and rhythmic tones of islands that do not appear on any known chart, shimmering emerald green lands that seem to float like ghosts upon the thick mist of the far horizon, only to vanish into thin air when the sun reaches its zenith. They tell quiet stories of Antilia, of the Isle of the Seven Cities, and of St. Brendan's Isle, places where the very sands are said to be made of crushed gold, and the white towers reach up to touch the cold stars. To these men, the great ocean is not an empty, terrifying void, but a crowded, magnificent theater of wonders. They believe with a quiet, unshakable, and rhythmic certainty that somewhere out there, hidden forever behind the heavy veil of the western fog, the perfect concentric rings of Atlantis are still waiting, unbowed and unbroken by the immense weight of the water above them. The fascination of the humble sailor soon becomes the quiet obsession of the high scholar. We move now from the salt-sprayed, noisy docks into the quiet, wood-paneled, and deeply peaceful studies of the great Renaissance cartographers. The air in these rooms is perfectly still and dry, smelling deeply of heavy, expensive vellum, iron gall ink, and the faint, dusty, and comforting scent of ancient geometry. On large, expansive wooden tables that have seen the passing of centuries, great maps of the world are being drawn with painstaking care, the new mappa mundi of a daring age. You can see the flickering, shadowy glow of a single candle, reflecting off the polished brass of the compasses and the crystal lenses of the map makers. With a slow, deliberate, and rhythmic hand, they begin to sketch the familiar contours of the known world. But they cannot and will not resist the siren lure of the unknown. In the vast, empty, and blue spaces of the Atlantic Ocean, resting between the familiar coast of Africa and the mysterious, newly whispered reaches of the New World, they begin to draw Atlantis. It is not depicted as a mere myth or a simple philosophical parable, but as a real, tangible, and physical place, a phantom island with jagged, rocky coastlines, deep, sheltered bays, and high, mountainous interiors. To the searching mind of the Renaissance, if the great Plato wrote of it with such detail, and if the brave sailors whispered of it with such awe, then it must surely exist somewhere in the physical world, waiting patiently for a steady compass to find its hidden heart. There is a profound, heavy, and deeply comforting nostalgia in this vision of the world. It was a time when the map still had plenty of room for magic, a time when the blank spaces of the globe were filled with the shimmering promise of perfection rather than the cold, hard data of modern satellite. As you visualize these dedicated scholars leaning low over their parchment, their tired faces bathed in the soft, warm, and flickering light of the hearth fire, you feel a sense of quiet intellectual adventure that is both exciting and deeply, fundamentally soothing to the soul. The world feels large again, mysterious, and full of hidden potential that waits just beyond the next wave. The constant, rhythmic repetition of the compass's arc and the steady, hypnotic scratching of the quill upon the page create a profound sense of order, safety, and purpose. We find a deep peace in the idea that there is always something more to discover, that the horizon is never an end, but always a beginning. The maps of this magnificent era are like beautiful, intricate, and ancient tapestries of human hope, weaving together the humble observations of the physical eye with the long, eternal longings of the human soul. Atlantis has become, once again, the ultimate destination for the restless spirit of the age, a golden symbol of a lost perfection that might, with enough courage and enough curiosity, be reclaimed at last from the silent deep. As the 17th century begins to dawn in a slow, pale light, the very nature of this dream starts to shift and evolve once more. The wild, romantic, and colorful tales of the sailors and the artistic, flowing flourishes of the mapmakers are being refined and tempered by a new kind of focused thinking. We are moving steadily toward an age of reason and observation, where the enduring mystery of Atlantis is no longer just a physical place to be found by a ship, but a perfect blueprint for how we might one day live. The flickering, unstable candlelight of the medieval study is being replaced by the steady, clear, and unwavering light of scientific inquiry. We follow the golden thread of the story into the brilliant, structured mind of Francis Bacon, a man who believed with all his heart that the true, lasting treasure of the lost city was not its silver walls or its golden statues, but its vast and accumulated knowledge. He is beginning to envision a new Atlantis, a society where the immense power of the human mind is used to unlock the deepest secrets of nature for the absolute benefit of all mankind. The heavy waves of history are carrying us away now from the phantom islands of the early explorers and toward a new, solid shore where philosophy and science begin to merge into a single, beautiful vision. The mist is clearing slowly, the sun is rising on a new and bright intellectual horizon, and the story of the lost empire is about to be transformed into a vision of a future that has yet to be built by human hands. The rhythm of the oars is steady and slow. The wind is fair and warm, and we are sailing together toward the bright, perfectly structured dreams of a new and better world. As the steady, unwavering light of the 17th century begins to illuminate the vast, expanding landscape of human thought, we find ourselves drifting gently away from the phantom islands of the early explorers and toward a new, solid shore where the mystery of Atlantis is transformed once more. We are no longer merely searching for a lost physical coordinate on a weathered map. We are searching for a way to live, a perfect blueprint for a world that has finally mastered the delicate art of eternal harmony. We enter the structured, visionary, and deeply peaceful mind of Francis Bacon, a man who saw in the ancient legend of the sunken city not a dark tragedy of the past, but a brilliant promise for the future of all mankind. In his final, unfinished, and hauntingly beautiful work, New Atlantis, he carries us across the same vast rolling western ocean we have traveled before. But this time, the heavy morning mist parts to reveal the hidden, sun-drenched island of Ben Salem. This is a sacred place that has remained secret and protected from the noise of the rest of the world for thousands of years, a sanctuary of profound peace and rhythmic order, where the ancient lost wisdom of the original Atlantis was not destroyed by the waves, but was instead meticulously preserved, refined, and grown into a new kind of earthly paradise. Imagine the quiet, rhythmic, and purposeful life of Ben Salem, where the very air is filled with the soft, steady, and comforting hum of discovery. It is a society built upon a deep foundation of unshakable hope, a world where the ambitious pursuit of science and the quiet devotion of faith do not war with one another, but live in a state of constant, beautiful, and silent coexistence. At the heart of this white stone utopia stands Solomon's House, a great and noble institution of learning that Bacon describes as the very eye of the kingdom. Here, the brightest and most peaceful minds of the island work in a state of calm, meditative focus, unlocking the hidden secrets of the natural world, not for the sake of power or dark conquest, but for the gentle relief of the human condition. They study the hidden properties of plants to cure all lingering diseases. They learn to control the flow of cool water and fresh air to improve the lives of every citizen. And they observe the slow, rhythmic movements of the stars to understand the deeper, celestial music of the spheres. Everything in the island of Ben Salem is clean, orderly, and bathed in a soft, benevolent light that never fades. There is no poverty here, no shadow of greed, and no cold fear, for the people have learned that true wealth lies in the shared accumulation of knowledge and the quiet, rhythmic practice of kindness. As you visualize the high white marble halls of Solomon's House, where the only sound is the gentle, rhythmic rustle of silk robes and the steady, hypnotic drip of a water clock, you feel a sense of profound, structured peace. It is a world where the human mind has finally found its true home, a place where perfection is not a fleeting dream, but a daily, rhythmic, and soothing reality. But as the centuries continue to roll forward like the heavy, slow-moving, and inexorable tides of the deep Atlantic, the dream of Atlantis shifts from the high, sun-drenched halls of a future utopia back down into the silent, pressurized, and blue darkness of the ocean floor. We move now from the bright 17th century into the late 19th century, an era of romantic adventure, deep shadows, and industrial wonder. The flickering, soft candlelight of the philosopher is replaced by the glowing, rhythmic, and electric luminescence of the Nautilus, the legendary and silent submarine of Captain Nemo. Through the visionary and adventurous eyes of Jules Verne, we are invited to descend miles beneath the surface of the sea, where the light of the sun can no longer reach, and the only remaining sound is the deep, rhythmic, and heartbeat-like throb of the engine against the immense, comforting weight of the water. In the famous, salt-aired pages of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, we walk alongside Nemo upon the prehistoric seabed, clad in heavy protective suits, moving with a slow, weightless, and dreamlike grace through a landscape that no man was ever meant to see with mortal eyes. And there, suddenly appearing through the dark, kelp-strewn fog of the abyss, are the magnificent, crumbling ruins of the lost empire. The sight is hauntingly, breathtakingly beautiful. A masterpiece of elegant decay and eternal, watery silence. Can you see the great, crumbling pillars of the Temple of Poseidon, now cloaked in thick, undulating layers of emerald green moss and pale, delicate and ancient barnacles? The silver walls that once blinded the sun have been transformed into dark, textured reefs where schools of translucent, glowing fish dart like silver needles through the empty, arched windows of forgotten palaces. The golden statues, once proud symbols of divine pride and earthly power, now lie tilted and half buried in the fine white and powdery silt of the ocean floor, their features softened and smoothed by the endless, rhythmic caress of the deep-sea currents. There is an immense, heavy, and restorative peace in this underwater world, a sense that the great ocean has not destroyed Atlantis, but has instead embraced it, turning the loud hubris of man into a silent sanctuary for the graceful creatures of the deep. The ruins do not feel tragic or broken. They feel sacred and ancient, like a vast cathedral of coral, where time has no meaning, and the only remaining law is the slow, eternal, and heavy pulse of the tide. As you watch the silver bubbles of your own breath rise slowly and rhythmically toward a surface that feels like a distant, faded memory, you feel a profound sense of wonder and safety. The perfection of the city has been preserved in a state of perpetual, watery grace, a dream of stone and salt that can never again be disturbed by the noise or the heat of the world above. The air in our long journey is growing even cooler now, even more still and heavy, as we linger among the barnacle-encrusted arches and the silent, sandy plazas of Verne's magnificent imagination. This vision of the sunken city provides a different kind of deep comfort, the comfort of knowing that even when something is seemingly lost to the world, it continues to exist in a new, beautiful, and protected form, sheltered forever by the very elements that claimed it. The transition from the high-tech, bright utopia Bacon to the haunting, silent ruins of Verne shows us the two sides of our own human hope, the desire to build a perfect future and the deep longing to reconnect with a magnificent, legendary past. We find ourselves drifting effortlessly in the vast space between these two dreams, suspended in a state of calm, rhythmic, and total reflection. The image of the city beneath the waves is like a soft, blue-tinted, and heavy lullaby, reminding us that there is profound beauty in the depths, and that even the greatest fall can lead to a state of quiet, eternal, and majestic majesty. As the 19th century begins to fade into the mist, and the first faint echoes of the modern age start to ripple through the water like a coming storm, the nature of our quest undergoes its final, most dramatic, and most tangible transformation. The poetic visions of novelists and the structured moral ideals of philosophers are no longer enough to satisfy the restless, searching curiosity of the human spirit. The world is becoming a place of hard facts, of precise measurements, and of tangible, physical evidence. We are moving away from the realm of pure fiction and toward a cold shore where men will begin to spend their entire lives and their vast fortunes searching for the actual, tangible remains of the island. The mist of the abyss is clearing once more, and as we rise slowly and rhythmically from the coral-covered ruins of the Nautilus, we are carried by the heavy currents toward a new century of explorers who believe with all their hearts that the myth is not just a story, but a physical reality waiting to be excavated from the shifting sand. The rhythm of the tide is pulling us toward the cold, clear light of discovery, toward the maps of the 1900s and the first real scientific attempts to touch the ancient stone of the lost empire. The dream is becoming a mission, and the history of Atlantis is about to enter its most tangible, most grounded chapter yet. The water is clear, the path is open, and we are moving toward the truth that lies buried beneath the silt. As the romantic, swirling mists of the 19th century begin to lift slowly from our mind's eye, we find ourselves being carried by a much steadier, cooler, and more rhythmic current toward the solid shores of modern reason. The haunting, blue-tinted, and silent ruins of the Nautilus are fading gently into the background of our long journey, replaced now by the crisp, clear, and unwavering light of scientific inquiry and the tactile, reassuring reality of the earth beneath our feet. We are transitioning from the ethereal world of what might have been to the solid world of what truly is, grounding our wandering spirits in the firm, heavy, and reassuring weight of physical evidence. We enter the focused, calm, and determined mind of Ignatius Donnelly, a man who, in the year 1882, ignited a global fire of curiosity that has yet to be extinguished by the passing of time. To Donnelly's searching mind, Atlantis was not merely a philosopher's clever metaphor or a novelist's imaginative playground. It was the sacred cradle of civilization, the literal and physical ancestral home from which all the great and diverse cultures of the world, the ancient Egyptians, the mysterious Mayans, and the noble Greeks, originally blossomed. As you visualize him now, surrounded by high piles of ancient, dusty texts and vast geological maps, his brow furrowed in deep, rhythmic, and peaceful concentration, you feel a sense of grounded and quiet purpose. He believed with a steady heart that the striking similarities between distant pyramids and shared solar myths were not mere coincidences, but the scattered golden seeds of a single, magnificent, and sunken motherland. Imagine the quiet, rhythmic, and meditative process of his lifelong study, where the still air is filled with the comforting scent of old heavy paper and the steady hypnotic tick of a wooden clock. Donnelly pointed his finger toward the vast, dark and cold expanse of the mid-Atlantic ridge, a massive underwater mountain range that snakes its way along the deep ocean floor, like the ancient spine of a sleeping giant. He suggested, with a calm authority, that this submerged ridge was once a magnificent, sun-drenched continent, a sturdy bridge of land that allowed the very first humans to travel safely between the old world and the new. As we drift over this immense geological reality in our minds, we feel the heavy primordial power of the Earth's cooling crust. We think of the Gulf Stream, that warm, rhythmic, and invisible river within the great ocean, and how its flowing life-giving currents might have once brushed gently against the shores of a mountain peak that now rests in total, pressurized, and silent darkness. The transition from pure myth to solid geology provides a different kind of deep safety, the safety of hard facts, the profound comfort of knowing that the story has its roots in the very stone and cold water of our planet. There is a profound, rhythmic, and lasting peace in the study of the Earth's history, a realization that even the most fantastic legends are often whispered by the landscape itself to those who know how to listen. The quest for physical evidence leads us further into the heart of the 20th century, toward the clear, shallow, and sun-kissed waters of the Bahamas. It is the bright year of 1968, and as we glide effortlessly through the turquoise, transparent waves near the island of Bimini, something truly extraordinary begins to take shape beneath the surface. There, resting quietly in the shifting, fine white sands, is a long, rhythmic, and mysterious formation of massive limestone blocks, some of them perfectly rectangular and smoothed by the passage of countless eons. This is the Bimini Road, a physical feature that seems far too symmetrical, too deliberate, and too structured to be the simple work of blind, chaotic chance. Can you see the soft sunlight dancing off these heavy underwater stone, highlighting the long straight lines and the solid, undeniable presence of what looks like an ancient pier or a long sunken highway to the stars? For many seekers, this was the tangible proof, the solid evidence that a sophisticated, building-minded people once walked upon land that the sea eventually and inevitably reclaimed. Whether these stones are the deliberate work of man or the rhythmic, natural result of complex geological fractures, their presence in our journey acts as a powerful, heavy anchor for our thoughts. They are something we can mentally touch, something we can measure, a solid bridge between the dream of the ancient past and the firm reality of the present moment. There is an immense, heavy, and restorative, soothing, and acknowledging that the great ocean, in all its terrifying vastness, keeps its secrets exceptionally and perfectly well. As we linger over the Bimini Road, watching the slow, rhythmic, and hypnotic sway of the seagrass against the ancient cold stone, we feel a sense of profound and humble humility. We recognize that despite our high-altitude satellites, our precise sonar, and our deepest, most advanced submersibles, much of our physical world still remains hidden in a state of perpetual, quiet, and beautiful mystery. The ocean is a guardian of history, a silent, eternal librarian who only allows us to see a few scattered pages of the great book at a single time. This realization does not bring frustration or restlessness, but a deep, unshakable sense of peace. It means that the world is still large, still full of wonder, and still perfectly capable of holding a sacred secret. The rhythm of the small waves against the submerged limestone blocks is a lullaby of the unknown, a gentle reminder that we do not need to have all the answers to find profound comfort in the search itself. We find safety in the vastness, a feeling that we are small but essential parts of a story that is far greater, more enduring, and more rhythmic than any single human lifetime. As we move slowly and rhythmically away from the physical stones of Bimini and the scientific theories of the last century, we feel the heavy current of the story beginning to pull us back toward the safety of the present moment. The cold, clear light of scientific discovery is softening now, turning into the warm, familiar, and golden glow of your own immediate surrounding. We are returning to the total safety of the now, carrying with us the grounding weight of the history we have explored together. The scientific quest has served its vital purpose, anchoring our imagination and providing a solid, heavy foundation for your coming rest. But as we drift, we realize that the true, lasting power of Atlantis does not lie in its limestone blocks or its silver-coated walls, but in the beautiful way it continues to rise and fall within the human heart. The transition from the external world of evidence to the internal world of the quiet soul is a gentle, rhythmic, and natural shift, like the tide slowly receding from the evening shore. We are leaving the maps, the compasses, and the physical artifacts behind us now, allowing them to settle back into the quiet, dust-free darkness of the eternal archive. The air around us is becoming perfectly still once more, matching the steady, effortless, and deep rhythm of your own breath. The long quest for Atlantis has brought us back to ourselves, back to this quiet room and this profound, singular moment of absolute peace. We have traveled through time, through myth, and through the very darkest depths of the prehistoric sea. And now, we are finally ready to find the true meaning of the legend within the silence and the stillness of our own minds. The physical journey is coming to a close, not with a definitive answer, but with a sense of perfect, unshakable, and heavy calm. The water is perfectly still, the search is over for tonight, and your internal landscape is clear, bright, and vast, waiting for the final gentle descent into a deep, restorative, and dreamless sleep. Every stone is in its place, and every wave has found its shore. Now the maps of the world have been carefully folded and put away in their dark wooden chests. The scientific instruments of the modern age have been stilled, their brass gears coming to a quiet and final rest, and the echoing voices of the great explorers have faded into the soft, velvet dark of your peaceful room. We are moving beyond the need for physical proof, beyond the heavy requirement for stone and silver, and drifting into the most sacred and quiet space of all, the infinite landscape of your own spirit. Atlantis lives on tonight, not because it is a physical place that can be found with a cold compass or a deep-sea submersible, but because it speaks to something deep, ancient, and rhythmic within the human soul. It is a memory that seems to predate our own individual life, a shimmering reflection of a perfection we all feel we once knew in a time before time. For the dreamers among us, Atlantis remains a paradise lost to kingdom of unimaginable beauty, structure, and light that exists just beyond the reach of the waking, busy mind, a gentle reminder that there is always a hidden world of wonder waiting just beneath the surface of our daily lives. For the thinkers and the steady seekers, it remains a profound and rhythmic lesson in the delicate, eternal balance of human pride and divine humility, a story that whispers of the great heights we are capable of reaching and the quiet grace required to sustain them. As you drift closer and closer to the very edge of sleep, the vivid image of the city begins to transform and soften one final time. It is no longer sinking into the dark, heavy, and pressurized depths of the prehistoric ocean. Instead, it is rising. But it is not rising into the physical world of noise, heat, and constant movement. It is rising within you. Perhaps Atlantis never truly sank beneath the salt and the silt of the Atlantic floor. Perhaps it rose into the high realm of the imagination, to become a permanent vision of what we could truly be. A perfect blueprint for a world that is greater, kinder, more stable, and more harmonious than our own. In the quiet, private theater of your mind, the great concentric rings of land and water are glowing with a soft, internal, and benevolent light that does not hurt the eyes. The water of the inner canals is perfectly still, reflecting the ancient stars of a sky that watched over the very first dreamers. You are part of this long golden lineage now, a keeper of the sacred legend, a traveler who has walked the silver halls and felt the cool, rhythmic spray of the ancient fountains. There is a profound question that has lingered for thousands of years, whispered in the long shadows of the pyramids and written in the margins of medieval maps by flickering candlelight. It is a question that does not require an answer from your voice, but a quiet response from your resting heart. What do you believe in this moment? In the soft, rhythmic space between waking and dreaming, what does the lost city mean to your soul? Is it a destination to be found, or is it a deep feeling of home? As you ponder this, the boundaries of the story begin to dissolve and melt away like a morning mist in the rising sun. The heavy weight of history is lifting from your shoulders, leaving behind only the light, effortless, and pure essence of peace. Atlantis is not lost to the waves. It is exactly where it needs to be, tucked safely and permanently away in the quietest, deepest corner of your imagination, where the tides are always gentle and the sun never truly sets on the horizon. You are drifting now, floating effortlessly on a sea of pure, unburdened, and rhythmic thought, moving toward a final horizon where the legend and the dreamer become one. The city is a part of you, and you are a part of the deep, eternal, and soothing blue. The journey is finally complete. The slow, rhythmic waves of time have brought us back to the shore of total and absolute silence, and the ancient stars of the prehistoric world are now the only lights that remain in the vast theater of your mind. I wish you a night of the most profound, peaceful, and restorative sleep imaginable. The air in your room has become cool, still, and heavy. A private sanctuary of rest that is yours and yours alone to enjoy. Feel the quiet, unshakable calm of this current moment. A stillness so deep and so heavy that it feels as though time itself has paused its march to watch you rest in peace. The story of the lost empire has reached its final end, but your true and deep rest is only just beginning. The heavy weight of the world and all its obligations has been left behind on the distant, faded shores of the day. And there is nothing left for you to do now but surrender completely to the warmth, the safety, and the beautiful heaviness of your own internal peace. Sweet dreams. Let the slow, effortless rhythm of your own breath be the only sound in the entire universe. Sweet dreams. You are perfectly safe. You are fully supported by the earth beneath you, and you are entirely free to drift into the dark, soft, and velvet embrace of the night. Rest now. The great ocean is calm and still. Rest now. The silver city is silent and at peace. Rest now. Everything in the world is exactly as it should be. The secrets of the deep are kept safe by the tides, and your mind is a clear, dark, and peaceful mirror of the stars above. Sweet dreams, sweet dreams. Rest, rest, rest. The silence take you into its arms now. Let the silence carry you all the way home to the deep. Sleep, 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 Dawangang.